This weird strategy has allowed me to make $12,727.64 in just 5 days selling life insurance over the phone. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I went from working over 70 hours a week, being broke and out of shape, to now I'm working less, making more. I still have time to go to the gym every day and spend time with my amazing wife. And here's a screenshot of me on the sales leaderboard, just so you don't have to only take it from me. Now, what I'm going to break down for you here in this video is a framework that we call the power pyramid. This is basically everything that goes from start to finish from being a top producer. And by the end of it, not only are you going to know the exact amount of phone calls and all of the things that you need to do on your computer and all of the tools that you should be using to see success selling life insurance, but I'm also going to go over the things that you need to do in your personal life that impact your professional life to operate at a higher level. And I'm going to start with number one, the first pillar of the power pyramid here, which is sleeping. Now, sleep is the most important thing of your entire day, because the way that I look at it is that I'm kind of like a Tesla, for example. If I don't charge, I can't go the distance. Right? And so if you're not recharging your battery every single day so that you're ready to go out into the freaking war zone and absolutely dominate your competition and get sales, then there's no way that you're going to have enough energy to keep up with your prospects that are turning you away and going through the word tracks and keeping the discipline and fighting the rejection every single day, because your mindset will be off because you'll just be plain tired. And so, but I'm not going to jump too much into like all of the things about sleep. That's going to be a separate video probably, but the best way to get going with this is to just start tracking it. And so I use something called the Aura Ring, which basically tracks a bunch of different data points with my sleep on a daily basis to help me optimize how I'm recharging my battery on a daily basis. And so, like I said, this isn't something I'm going to get crazy deep into, but a few tips that can help you to get higher quality sleep, to jump into every single day with massive energy like I am currently, is just getting rid of blue light. Right? Blue light screens on your cell phone or TV just an hour before bed, it can actually help you wind down and get way higher quality sleep because your body's not releasing as much cortisol going into your sleep cycles. That's just one thing, not eating right before bed or working out right before bed or drinking caffeine too late or anything like that. Focusing on recharging your battery to the max every single day is so pivotal. It's absolutely insane. And so, like I said, you have to start by tracking it so that you can measure whether or not you're even improving it to know if your battery is getting charged to full every single day. But the same way that you would charge your phone or your computer, you want to make sure that you're charging your body, that way in your mind, that way you're ready to go into and dominate your next day. Now, before I jump into the rest of the secrets that you're going to need to see success selling life insurance at a high level, what I'm showing you right now is the foundation of inputs that you need to get massive output. Basically, what I'm showing you is the tools essential and the frameworks essential for your personal and professional life for you to get maximum output in the same time frame or shorter time frame than other people. And the reason I'm saying this is because, like I said, I was working over 70 hours a week and I was broke and frustrated because I was doing the same thing over and over again, but it was some of the bad habits like drinking alcohol or staying up too late or waking up too early or not getting enough sleep or eating too late or fast food and all these things that were holding me back from hitting my goals. And so what I'm going to talk about in this next portion here is not only how much you're recharging your battery, but how you're fueling the vehicle. So to keep it on par with a car reference, you have to put gasoline into your car on a regular basis if you're driving a normal vehicle. And the thing that's crazy about this is that most people will actually put higher quality fuel into a sports car or luxury vehicle before they'll put higher quality food into their own body. And it's nuts. Why would you invest more into the fuel source for your car, a machine, and not as much into your body, which is like the foundation of your survival, right? And so one of the things that's super helpful when you're trying to get your chemical balances in order and you're trying to get your mindset right and all of these things is just making sure that your body's running on the right fuel. Whole foods like eating chicken and rice and potatoes and things of that nature, eggs, and getting your protein from true foods instead of going through processed, frozen, pre-cooked meals from the freezer section, or going out and slamming down on a Wendy's 4 for 4, which I've been guilty of, by the way, guys. I'm not judging anyone. These are things that I've done. Also keeping consistent meal times so that your energy's steady throughout the day, because if you're burning clean energy constantly, you're going to have a consistent output. If you just filled up your gas tank with 1 gallon of gas and you had to just kind of go in between and back and forth and like it was always start and stop and the car was always sputtering, that'd be a really frustrating situation, but that's how most people treat their bodies. And so I'm not going to get into all of the details of diet or which diet to eat or all of these like different little like some people are like, oh, carnivore is the only way. Other people say vegan's the only way. It doesn't really matter. What does matter is staying consistent and eating at the same times every day and eating real human food instead of processed garbage. If you're eating dog food every single day, just processed all to crap, your body is not going to function at a higher level. And ultimately, you're going to be in a much worse spot with your productivity. I used to drink energy drinks and eat a bag of beef jerky for breakfast. Like, guys, I'm telling you, I've done the worst possible things you could imagine to my body and to myself. And now that I'm doing this, I'm able to work and burn clean, focused energy for 12 hours plus per day. And there's not even a hitch in my step. I wake up with more energy and leave the day with more energy than most people do. And I get more done in a day than most people are getting done in a year in this business because of this. It's amazing. And I want to share this with you. Now, like I said, I am going to jump into the details of the tools and all that stuff here in just a second. But the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which is setting yourself up, the foundation of you being an absolute monster producer, is your environment. Now, guys, if you want to see success selling anything, you always want to focus on your environment. What I mean by that is that your office should be clean and it should be attractive. I shouldn't go into my office and be absolutely miserable, like, oh my gosh, this sucks, I don't want to be here. I used to work out of a camping chair with a busted laptop that cost me $180. I had back pain, my work was barely getting done, and ultimately I was pretty frustrated to go to work because every day was me troubleshooting a busted laptop and just being a cheap ass instead of going out and buying a new one and getting a freaking desk with a chair. I worked out of my lap with a Surface Pro with an attachable keyboard that was broken. And while I made a fair amount of money doing it, this was a very foolish way to operate because my environment was not optimized for me to do work and for me to be competitive in business. This was me trying to get the most juice for the squeeze and spending the least amount of money to get the most amount of money out of it. And while it did work, that is not a great example of what you should be doing. Right? You want to make this a desirable environment. I have plants. I keep my window open so I get fresh air. I've got a nice view of nature outside. That way I'm able to enjoy being in this room. I bring candles in here. These are things that you don't have to do all of them, and you can do whatever it is for you, but those are things that I like to do. You know, when I've been out and made it, I'm going to get like a crazy fish tank and all these other things and go like totally off the rails with it. But for now, I'm just keeping it simple and attractive and ultimately, I like being in this room, which is awesome. The environment is going to be everything about who you are in business. So now we're going to jump a little bit more into the nitty-gritty of focus, the tools and time management necessary to work normal business hours. Guys, this bought me back like 4 hours per day of work. And not only am I able to work more and get more done, but I'm also able to have more of my life back on a day-to-day basis because I started being more diligent with my time. Now, one of the sayings that I use a lot is like, you want to get more juice for the squeeze. And so the purpose of that is like, if I can make a glass of orange juice with 2 oranges or 5 oranges, would I rather do it with 2 or 5 if I'm going for efficiency? And the truth is, it's the 2. And so oftentimes it's that last little squeeze that most people aren't going for that helps you go the extra mile and make way more money. And it's simple things like one change that I made was deleting all of my social medias off of my phone. I'm not worried about watching other people live their lives because it doesn't make me money and it doesn't matter. Because if they're busy living their lives and taking photos of it, then that means that I'm just, watching a still Netflix show on Instagram or Facebook, and I'm not going to get anything out of it, except for maybe leaving a comment, which is even a bigger waste of time because now I'm commenting on their lives, and that doesn't matter either. And so the crazy thing about it is that not only was I able to buy back time in my day-to-day basis, but I was also able to remove my notifications off of my phone. And so there's only 2 people who can reach me on like throughout the day while I'm in work mode. My wife, which she will argue is sometimes even hard to reach me. And my business partner, who will also tell you that it's hard to reach me sometimes because he'll message me on multiple platforms just to make sure I even see the message because my phone is on lockdown mode. In fact, I used to decline all phone calls in an automated setting before I was selling actively in the field again, just to make sure I was keeping my focus. Because what I'm doing is building a moat around my mental frame. And so that if I can focus on one task at a time and absolutely dominate it, there's a lot more that's able to get done than just looking, there goes Facebook. What about TikTok? Oh, the news went off. There goes another, disaster, catastrophe. The whole world is ending. If I'm focused on the wrong things, the right things don't get done. One of the ways that you can kind of get more out of each hour is not by doing more. It's actually by doing less. And typically you just need to remove the things that are becoming distractions for you, like getting up to do the laundry or getting up to do house chores or checking your phone, having to answer emails. If you're answering emails during dial time, you've lost your mind. And I've done all these mistakes, and I had to identify it and change who I am fundamentally as a person to operate at a higher level and lead others to do it. But I don't want to get too off topic there with social medias and things of that nature. I'm going to jump into exactly what you've been waiting for, which is the tools. And then we're going to talk about time management, which is going to give you the ability to work less, make more, and still enjoy the things that you're doing. And so what I want to jump into here first is the tools of everything. You need to have a decked out computer, something that's reliable and strong. You do not want to be the guy that is working with a $180 laptop that's falling apart out of his lap in a camping chair. I've been there. It was a fun time. It was great while it lasted, and it's funny to look back on, but good Lord, I would go and backhand myself if I could because that made 0 sense. And so not only do I want to have a decked out computer, but I want to have my mouse speed up to max. Because if I am going through on half speed, like trying to click, and I'm just spending all this extra time, you're earning back microseconds. And every time you are earning back 1 microsecond on each individual task, like if I can basically cut a corner in the race on every single thing, if I earn 1 second back for 1,000 tasks per day, or micro tasks, which is like a click or a keyboard shortcut or anything like that, I'm getting back major time on an annual basis. Whenever you're using these computers, you want to have it spec'd out. You want to have it max mouse speed. You want to be using keyboard shortcuts and commands. And you also want to make sure that you have a great Wi-Fi connection. Because if your Wi-Fi is going down every 15 minutes, you're probably not going to be in business long. And if you are, it's going to be a pretty gross business. So ultimately, one of the things that I am not cheap on is my internet, my tools, and making sure that those tools are in line with where they need to be. Another thing is going to be investing in a high quality headset. So for some reason, I seem to be the prime example for a clown world. But when I was making phone calls, I was listening to these people on speakerphone out of my laptop. Like, who raised me as a salesperson? No headset, speakerphone, busted laptop. I mean, it was disgusting. It was gross. I hated it. And I still made money. And I was still solid, but my efficiency was so much lower, it actually made no sense because I was working more and making less because I was focused on saving money instead of optimizing for production, which was just stupid. And so what I found is that you need a high quality headset so that people can hear you. And what's funny is once I got these awesome noise canceling headphones, I actually started opening my window to get that fresh air in. And I can hear nothing from the highway that's just down the road from me and the cars that drive by and whatnot because these noise-canceling headphones are awesome. And I don't have to put my AC on, which for me is like a dream because I've got great weather where I live. And that for me is something that I'm always super excited about is having being able to just vibe in the fresh air of things. Now, this is the final trick, the final portion of the power pyramid here, and this is going to be time management, right? And so this right here is going to be the big bang explosive thing that you're going to need in your business if you've set the foundation for maximizing your output within a time frame. What I've showed you so far in this video is basically teaching you how to get to the finish line faster than anybody else. And you have been using all these other things to train for the sprint, right? Think of this like you were running in track. You don't want to just be the guy that's on the treadmill, like steady state cardio, super, super slow and steady, because realistically, it's not about slow and steady winning the race. It's just about who gets to the finish line first. And the person with more energy and higher output will do that. And so every day in this business is a sprint, but the business itself is a marathon. And so you have to do the same thing every single day consistently over the course of years to see massive success in this business. And most people aren't willing to do that. But if you are and you apply these things, it makes it super easy to do so because consistency just falls in place with these frameworks. So the last thing here, before we wrap this video up, I'm going to give you the secrets that got me to where I'm at right now. And so for me, what I did was I was trying to think of how I could get more of my time back with my wife and my friends and just on a day-to-day basis doing the things that I want. And what I found is that I can actually work less. I work less now than before, and I'm getting more done because of the structure, which is I work for 50 minutes of dialing, balls to the wall, violent dials, no remorse, just pumping. And I take a 10-minute break every hour. And if you do that 8 times per day, that's like a 7-hour work day, but you've also gotten so much productivity out in that 50 minutes that you're way ahead of where you would be if you did a 12-hour day and you didn't do this. And I'm saying this because I'm speaking from experience and it works. You have a chance to reset your mindset. You have a chance to get re-energized. And you also have a chance to really just go hard for 50 minutes and then get up, walk around, do whatever it is that you need to do. And it's amazing. Between this, the exercise, the sleep, the diet, all these things that are essential to you having a high level of energy and feeling amazing, when you follow the 50-10 rule every hour, I promise you'll get more done than you have all month in 1 week, because this totally changed my life. And you want to focus on income producing activities like dialing, talking to the clients, not administrative work. You don't want to be worrying about responding to emails from your upline who's talking about whether or not you're going to be at next month's conference, because that just doesn't even matter right now. And you want to optimize your time for high volume answer rates, which are between the hours of 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. so that I can get in touch with people when they're ready to pick up and answer. The answer rates are so much higher during these times that you can actually get more dials out between 12 and 4 and get a fraction of the answers that you will within the time frames that I've just listed for you. And so if you're optimizing your work for output and you're focusing on your inputs, I promise you're going to be an absolute monster in this business, because it's really hard to fail if you're doing the same things consistently and all of them are positive. And to wrap this video up, the things that are going to take away from being successful are going to be the things that I was doing, like drinking, staying out late, waking up early, not focusing on my diet or sleep or exercise and all of these stupid things. And basically I was going backwards. Everything, I was putting out negative inputs. I was actually going backwards in an effort to go forwards. But there's no point in trying to be wealthy if you're not healthy, because then you're just going to spend all the money you earned on trying to get healthy again. And so I hope that this video was valuable for you, and this is the paradigm shift that you can take with you to be successful in this industry like I have, because it has totally changed my life, and I'm doing the exact same thing as I was before, but I just had a mental shift of deciding not to be a clown anymore.